Hello. Okay, so we're going to start today's session with a little quiz. You like quizzes?
Yes.
Do we have pens? Yes, thank you so much. Can we just pass this around? Okay, by all question and answer papers, please turn the paper around. Huh? Don't look at the questions.
You can trust us.
I was just joking. Yeah, okay, look at the questions.
How do we know? You don't trust us. Don't trust teacher.
Okay, now before you all start, I just want to ask you all to keep in mind one thing. You'll have to answer these questions as right or wrong. No ifs and buts. Okay? Either right or wrong. No ifs and buts. One. Second, this is not meant to be shared with anyone, so you're not going to have any group sharing. It's going to be for your own personal reflection. So please try and be as honest with yourself as you can with each of the questions. Think about it. Yeah, be honest and answer right or wrong. I'm not going to ask for the questions to be given back to me or nothing. Okay? So go ahead. I think we'll move now. Okay? Yeah. Great. So the answer to the quiz questions are, there are no right statements there. Okay? Now don't have to share this with anyone. If you have something where you marked as right or yes, it's okay, it's fine. There's a question mark. Yeah? If you need clarifications, we can talk about it after the meeting. We can't go into it right now. Okay? There's no time to deal with each question. But if you have those doubts, we can talk. But there's no right answer in that. Just for our information. This is for our own reflection. Okay? I had gone to Brazil for World Youth Day. Most of us know that. And I was staying with a family there. And we used to have lunch together with the other pilgrims and people from that parish. One of the ladies who was a dentist who actually treated my tooth which went bad there. I was very grateful to her. She was sharing with me that she was into yoga and how yoga was like so awesome, and she now wakes up in the morning and the first thing she does is chants the name of Vishnu, Brahma and Krishna. I'm listening to her and I said, ma'am, with all due respect, what you're doing is very dangerous for you. It's really dangerous because it's not, they are Hindu gods, so you have to be very careful. And she tried to convince me about the whole thing, but I was unfazed because I was quite, I know for sure that stuff is not. And she said, she kind of alluded to the fact that I was very closed-minded. You need to be open-minded to these things, okay? Anyways, I left it at that and I was praying for her because I genuinely believe that her soul was in danger. It was in danger, right? It was, I can't decide whether she's going to hell or not. But it was in danger because exposing yourself to this can be dangerous. Many of us Catholics especially, besides the entire world, we like to be open-minded, or we are told that we need to be open-minded. Often it is done in the guise of wanting to accept the other person. Good intentions, Sometimes I'm afraid of disagreeing with someone, so I want to be open-minded. What we're going to see today and what we're going to share today is taken from materials taken from this guy whose name is Chris Stefanik. Now he's a Catholic apologist, and he does talks on something called moral relativism and tolerance. Okay? We'll come back to moral relativism and the meaning of it and all that stuff. Okay? So it's taken from there. Often we say, so what if he's doing it? It's not affecting me. Nothing wrong with it, yeah. Chalta hai. Even if he's committing a grave sin, as long as it's not affecting me. Everyone has a right to have their own opinion, their own set of values. What is wrong if someone else does it? What is wrong for someone else may not be wrong for me. Let's look at this video to help us to understand this. Okay?
This is a red balloon. It's true, it's red. We all know our colors. The absolute truth is that this balloon is red.
No, it's not. That's green.
What?
This right here is a green balloon.
That is the prettiest yellow balloon.
Yellow? This is red. Yeah, come over here.
No, it's green.
It's red!
Yeah, I know, it's a red balloon.
Hey, will you look at it from my point of view, please?
What?
Hey, nice blue balloon.
It's green!
Green? It's red. What?
Why are you saying it's red when it's blue?
Huh?
It's totally purple from here!
Purple. Okay, you know what? Let's just settle this once and for all, okay?
Where are you going?
Hey, what color is this balloon?
I only see in black and white.
Hey, Mark, what color?
There is no balloon.
This is ridiculous.
Hey, I know what the problem is. Look, my mom taught me that this was blue. But, then she said this is red and green, yellow, and on and on.
Okay, I get that your mom taught you that was blue, but I mean, that's not the truth.
Whoa, why are you talking bad about his mom?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Listen, I respect your mother.
Thank you.
And the way she raised you. She taught you that it was blue. Our moms taught us that it was red. That's the way it goes.
I thought you said it was green.
It is green. See, I'm smart. I went to college. And in college, I learned all these different theories about color.
Really?
And my color professors who have doctorates in color. Do you have a doctorate in color?
No.
It shows. Okay? They can't even agree on one theory of color, so you have to look at all the different theories and pick which one works best for you. And green is great for me.
That makes sense.
Thank you.
No, you can't just pick whatever color fits your life the best. Red is red.
Okay, do you know the word intolerant?
Yeah.
Because that's what you're being right now. All right, you're shoving your opinion down my throat.
Okay, it's not my opinion, it's the truth.
Hold on. All we're saying is that we need to stop arguing about trivial things. Like truth.
You know, the funny thing about truth is, it's true, whether you believe it or not.
Look at all the theories and choose the one that fits you. What else? My mother taught me that this was blue. Oh, I respect you. Your mother taught you that, that's fine. I don't want to, disagree with you. No, you think it was good. Purple. From there is no balloon. My goodness. And then finally stop arguing about trivial things like the truth. This is open-mindedness. Just having your own opinion. This is the biggest lie of our time. It is the biggest lie of our time. What is the lie? That there is no truth. There is no standard. Anything goes. What I feel like is truth. I can decide for myself. There is no, she used the word in the beginning, absolute truth. Not absolute vodka, absolute truth. Okay? I checked out the dictionary for the meaning, not because of the vodka, but because of the session. A value or principle which is regarded as universally valid, or which may be viewed without relation to others, which means this will always remain the same. And no matter what, everything around it, what happens to everything around it, changes, however it changes, this will always remain the same. Jesus will always be God. God will always be good. No one can change that. Abortion will always be murder. You may call it whatever you want. What is it called?
Termination of pregnancy.
Sorry?
Termination of pregnancy.
Termination of pregnancy. Give it a better name. Pro-choice. But it's still murder. You're still killing a human being. Extramarital affairs will still be adultery. It will still be cheating. Using of contraceptives is still lack of self-control. Getting drunk will always be abusing the body. So these things will always be standard. They can't change. These are values that will always be that way. So no matter what happens, these things will stay. Like the lady who was holding the red balloon summed it up. The funny thing about truth is, whether you believe it or not, it will always be the truth. Saint Augustine of Hippo said it beautifully. He said, right is right, even if no one is doing it, and wrong is wrong, even if everyone is doing it. Right is right, even if no one is doing it. Wrong is wrong, even if everyone is doing it. Recently, Gladwin sent me a survey which was done amongst 12,000 Catholics. And in that, a general observation that I saw was 50% of the Catholics, almost 50%, it was, up and down for different kinds of things, do not agree with what the Catholic Church is saying. But whether everyone's doing it or not, it still remains the truth. The Church has established the truth already. This philosophy that there is no absolute truth. So we've decided, we've seen what is absolute truth. That means that truth can never change. The God is God can never change. This philosophy that there is no absolute truth, that means God can change, He can become anything. I can decide what God wants, I can fashion God in the way I want to. That is called moral relativism. That means each one has his own set of ideals. You have your own set, you have your own set, we'll be happy together. But there's a problem there. Let's see what happens when we start believing this kind of we're living this kind of a lifestyle. You are okay where you are, I'm okay where you are, we'll be peaceful. Let's play the next video. Is it clearer without, should I put the lights off? It's okay, right? It's clear now.
Ben, okay. Ben, my name's Chad. So, Ben, you don't believe in right and wrong?
No,
And why is that?
it's purely subjective. I mean, it's never really straight up and down, if that makes any sense. That's kind of the best way I can explain it.
So when you think of something like torturing babies for the fun of it, you can't say that's black and white wrong. You say that it's open.
I say it's cruel. But I mean, like torturing babies for the fun of it, you should be stopped. I don't believe in right or wrong, but I would stop you if I saw you do it. I don't think you'd go to hell if you did it, though, because, I mean, even if you did go to hell, you can find heaven in hell.
When you use a word like should or ought, are you not assuming that there's a certain way that things should or ought to be?
Do my own personal ideals? I have an ideal world, but I believe that other people disagree with me about what my ideal world is, and they could be just as right as I am. I think you could be just as right as I am.
So you think that each individual person has their own truth value and it's equivalent to one another? I have my opinion, you have your opinion, and neither one of us has any more truth value than the other?
Essentially,
Yes or no?
yes.
So your truth value, your opinion, has no more weight or bearing than a child molesters or rapists?
They still believe what they believe, you know? Like, think about it, how many rapists were priests?
The question was, though, you believe by your standard that their moral opinion is just as valuable, not any less valuable, than yours. It has just as much weight.
Yeah, they're still human beings. Everybody has the right to have their moral opinion. Now, the rest of the human race and the rest of the world, maybe even the rest of the universe, nature itself, may try to stop that because it's something that goes against, however, the well-being of everything around it. But I still think they're entitled to do that. Just like, they're going to take this, and I'm probably going to regret saying this, but I have to. Just like I think Hitler was entitled to do what he did, but I still would have fought against him.
Why would you fight against him?
I don't agree with I don't believe in genocide. It's just like, the right versus wrong. It's like saying, because you were you're wrong.
And just kind of going back to what you're saying, though, that's only your opinion, and your opinion ultimately has no more value than a child molester or a rapist.
Pretty much.
Isn't there something within you that just kind of screams, this is just wrong, but I can't explain it from my worldview? Isn't there something opinion that just says raping and child molesting isn't only subjectively wrong, it's not just wrong because that's my opinion, but it's absolutely wrong. But with my worldview, I just can't explain that somehow. Is that sort of the conundrum that you're in? Something along those lines. That's what happens when you give up belief in God, when you suppress the truth.
Yeah. So what happens? You land up become totally confused in your head. Was he happy? I mean, was he like sure about what he was saying? Did that come across as absolutely convinced? You know, there was nothing wrong with what I'm saying. He was not. You can see from his facial expression. So you land up becoming, and Pope Benedict XVI put it beautifully. He said, and he won the world in 2008. He won the world. He said, a spiritual desert is spreading, an interior emptiness, an unnamed fear, a quiet sense of despair. And he said, moral relativism is the greatest problem of our time. Greatest problem of our time. This is the Pope. This is not, one of us saying. This is Pope Benedict XVI, one of the most intelligent men known in our time. He was known to have a mind equivalent to 12 university professors. He was that brilliant. He said that this is the greatest problem of our time. We have poverty, we have wars, we have, what else? Corrupt governments we are fighting against. Everyone's having those uprisings and all that stuff. But he says this is the main problem. And if you look at it closely, this is at the root of it. Because everyone wants to do what they think is right. So obviously there's going to be confusion in the world. 93% of the youth of America believe in moral relativism. So all of them think their own thing. 93% of the youngsters. The thing is, just as our mouths are meant to close on food, can you imagine what happens if we don't close our mouth when we're eating? What will happen? Huh? What? Won't swallow, the food will ferment in your mouth and you'll get mouth ulcers. You have to close your mouth to eat it, not to bite it, to chew it. In the same way, our minds are meant to close on something. We're meant to close on truth. Not meant to be open-minded. It's meant to close on truth. On the truth, because the truth will never change. Otherwise, today I think this is right, tomorrow something else right, day after something else is righter, and then there's right and right and right, and then I'm going to be totally confused and my children are going to be confused also, the next generation. So, going back to Benedict XVI, what will happen? We will be hungry in our minds, we will not have anything in there. There will be a desert, it will be like a desert, a spiritual desert. Our inner being or what we have inside will be empty. Why? Because it's not staying there. Because it's not meant to, it's not real, it's not the truth. And so deep inside we're going to be empty. We're really going to be empty. And we're going to be afraid. Why? Because we're confused, we don't know what is real, what is it. We don't know. And it leads to despair. Despair, by the way, is the beginning when you start having thoughts about suicide. Now remember that statistic about the Americans, 93%. 15% of the American youth, have considered committing suicide. 15%, that's not a small figure. That's 15 out of every 100 youngsters want to commit suicide. So that's exactly what he was saying. The greatest problem of our time, because We just don't know where we're going. So now we've established what is moral relativism, what is absolute truth, that we need to have something absolute, something to guide our lives, something standard. Now, it is the best thing for us. So it's best that we don't have this open mind kind of thing, and we have truths to live by. Yeah, it's best for us and it's best for the community at large. We're going to look at another video now. And, we're going to go back to that first video about the balloon, right? We're just going to go back to the last part of that, because I want us to think about something in that video.
The color fits your life the best. Red is red.
Okay, do you know the word intolerant?
Yeah.
Because that's what you're being right now. Alright, you're shoving your opinion down my throat.
Okay, it's not my opinion, it's the truth.
Hold on. All we're saying is that we need to stop arguing about trivial things. Like truth.
You know, the funny thing about truth is, it's true, whether you believe it or not.
Do you know what the word intolerant is? So when we as Christians or Catholics decide that gay marriages are not on, yeah, what do we become? Intolerant. When we say contraceptives are not the way to go, we become intolerant, right? We're going to play another video now and listen to it carefully. This is Chris Stefanik himself. It's a lovely video. There's a lot of stuff that he says. He uses the word absolute truth. We know what's absolute truth now, right? Everyone? Yeah? Absolute truth we know. You know what's moral relativism? It means everyone has their own opinion and their own truth. So he's going to use those words often, so just watch it. Now, as we're watching the video, after that I'm going to ask one of you all to tell me what is tolerance. Yeah, he specifically mentions what tolerance is. So if whoever picks it out, there's a chocolate there for you. Okay? Okay, here you go.
I'm a devout Roman Catholic who believes in spiritual and moral absolute truth, which to a lot of people means that I'm a hater, a bigot, closed-minded, intolerant. One of the Supreme Court justices in the United States recently said that people like me who disagree with same-sex marriage are, quote, enemies of the human race. Wow. Enemies of the human race, despite the fact that in the 2,000-year history of the church, you will not find a single bishop who has called for open violence against homosexuals. Yeah, our teaching has been clear and consistent through millennia, but it's not been violent. You know, I think we've forgotten what tolerance is all about, what it really is. I mean, I had a friend accuse me online and say, Chris, you say I'm right, they're wrong. You believe in an absolute truth when it comes to spiritual things. Gosh, you're intolerant. What's the difference between you and the Taliban? I can think of a few differences between me and the Taliban. Thanks. See, guys, we've redefined tolerance to mean never disagreeing. The real definition of tolerance is first disagreeing and then putting up with the people you disagree with. You have to disagree in order to start being tolerant. You don't tolerate a beautiful sunny day. You tolerate the rain. Mother Teresa of Calcutta disagreed with the gay lifestyle. She also started the first AIDS hospice in New York City. She disagreed with Hindus about the divinity of Christ. She wouldn't have just said, hey, this is true for me and they have a truth for them. No, she thought they were wrong. She also spent her whole life serving them. And I can find some YouTube video coming out of her, like some backslum in Calcutta, and you somebody in the face, you know, accept Jesus your Lord and Savior, then I'll give you rice. She believed with absolute surety that God loved each person enough to die for us. So each person is worth giving our lives to serve. You know what, ironically, some of the most intolerant people in history have been relativists, I mean, people who don't believe in truth. There is no such thing as truth. Adolf Hitler said that. He didn't think it was a spiritual truth, that was objective reality that he could conform his life to. Mao Zedong did not believe in a spiritual truth. Stalin didn't believe in spiritual truth. There's nothing more relativistic than fascism. Mussolini said that. See, guys, not believing in a spiritual and moral absolute doesn't make you a tolerant person. And believing in God does not make you an intolerant person. You know what makes you truly tolerant? Believing in the spiritual and moral absolutes and being convinced that violence against those you disagree with is wrong. See, guys, Jesus Christ never compromised with sin. He brought up the cross. But he also never stopped loving people he disagreed with.
Yep. So, before you all answer, there's a specific one I'm looking for. We have said 2-3 things, but there's one I'm looking for. So, anyone wants to go for it? You don't like Cadbury yogurt?
Never disagree.
Huh?
Never disagree.
Disagree with them first, so we also love them because we are.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. So you all can share the chocolate here.
Okay. Yeah. Sean.
It's for everyone.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Yeah, it was along the lines, we have redefined tolerance as never disagree. That's what the world says, don't disagree, don't forget it. Why go to the headache of trying to convince someone? He says tolerance is you have to first disagree and then tolerate. Just imagine if I tell Johan, my son, I love you. I really love you. I say, no, Tata, I really want to do this. I say, what? And I want to ride my cycle on Shenzai Road. And I say, oh, okay, son, I'm a very tolerant father. Go. Do what you want, son. It's okay. Can you see it? I'm being foolish. I'm being foolish. You think I'm crazy. I cannot agree with him, but I still love him. I have to be tolerant every day of my life. With my wife, with my children. And they have to be tolerant with me. Do you get what I'm saying? But they still love me, I still love them. I don't agree with them every time. They don't agree with me every time. Yeah? So we have to tolerate. Benedict XVI beautifully says, in the name of tolerance, tolerance only is abolished. In the name of tolerance, tolerance is abolished. So those who are actually tolerant are termed as intolerant, enemies of the human race, he calls them. But how do we fight this? How do we? It's a wave throughout the world. And I'm sure you guys have met people who have this open-minded belief system. How do we fight this? One of the ways we could do that, and I'm going to ask you to do that now, is just take a moment to think. You know, I'll tell you, while I was going through this session, it hit me hard because I was left stumped because I felt there were certain areas in my life where I was on the fence. I was not absolutely there. I didn't believe completely in that. I'm like, okay, chalta hai. I was scared. I really was scared. So there could be areas in our lives where we're on the fence. The problem is, when you have two legs, right? One leg, one foot is here, one foot is there, but you're all standing on two separate boats. They're both going in the opposite direction. What will happen? You'll be torn apart. You'll just be torn apart. So part of you believes yes, part of you no, part of you yes, part of you no. So I'm going to ask you to think about any one area in your life where you feel you're not sure. Okay? Think about it now. And keep it in your heart. Any one thing. keep this thing in your heart and find out the truth. Go after it. Learn, search, you have the internet, you have people to talk to, find it out. It's worth it. When I was younger, when I just came to the renewal, I had a friend of mine who left the church, became a Protestant. And he was adamant on me converting and moving into the Protestant sect. And his life suddenly became very, like everything was working out for him. He was getting a job, he was doing well, and suddenly things just fell in place. And he wasn't the guy who was doing very well in life. He was put down by people every time. And so it was a very tempting proposition. For some reason I stuck on. Okay, I wasn't sure at that time. For some reason I think with my mom, I was scared of my mom more than anything else. I stuck on, I stayed. I'm so glad I stayed. I can't tell you how glad I am. Because after realizing and reading and getting in touch with the saints and knowing what, I was just blown with the Catholic faith. Completely blown. And some of us are too. Chris Stephanie gives us a few ways in which we can handle this. So first way is to start with ourselves. He speaks about other things where he says, spell out that relativism is wrong. So if someone tells you, I have my own opinion, but you have yours, he has his, what's going to happen to the world here? Everyone's going to go mad because we won't know what's happening. So talk to people about it. If you're not sure, go to the internet. I was going to say type Chris Stephanie and get his videos, see what he's saying. There's some good stuff. And there are a lot of debates also online which you can check out. But Chris Stephanie is the guy to go to. Yes?
Could you just spell it for us?
Stefanic. K. CK. CK or just CK? CK was my boss's ex-boss's name, sorry. Oh my goodness. Thank God, at least now you are laughing. Okay. Listen to this, Benedict XVI, Pope Benedict XVI. He said this, only if the Christian faith is true, does it concern all men. Otherwise it will be just a simple expression of a culture, like Hinduism. It's just a culture that has evolved, right? But because Christianity is the truth, everyone must know about it. Now, we can't help it if God has given us that mandate. He's revealed it to us. So we should be happy and share it with others. But if we say, no, it's okay, you do what you want. We are fooling ourselves and them here. We're not helping them, we're not loving them. It doesn't work in real life. Johan, Sheikh Zadrol, it just won't work here. I can't allow Johan to do that. So we can make these arguments. It doesn't work with who we are. We cannot create God or make Him into our own image, which man has been doing from Old Testament times. The calf and all that stuff. We cannot do that. We are the created. He is the creator. So we've got to relate to Him in the way He has revealed Himself to us through Jesus. And then he says the last way is the toughest way, but it's the only way. Become saints. That's the only way to become a saint. Benedict XVI, again, Pope Benedict XVI, he echoed, those words are echoed in what he said over here. He says, as Christians, we must not just communicate ideas or institutions, you know what the institution teach, but the most profound dimension of our faith, which is real contact with Christ. Real contact with Christ. He's not saying speak about Christ, he's not saying study more or whatever. He's saying contact with Christ. Encounter Him. Encounter Him in your day, Mass, sacraments, your prayer time, reading of Scripture. Meet Him. Only when we meet Him can we tell someone else about Him. Can you tell others about the truth? I must endeavor to do this real contact with Christ through my spiritual guide, whatever. Make that effort, go after it, and that's what will make us saints. And that brings me back to the end of Chris's video. And I'll end with this. Jesus never compromised with sin. For sin, he would say it was sin. He brought it to the cross. But he also never stopped loving people who disagreed with him. He never stopped loving them. He tolerated them.